Hi, my name is Maxim. I'm the Head of Customer Success at Lex Start. If you haven't watched the first video, I highly recommend you to do so. In this video, we will talk about the details of a privacy policy. First of all, why do you need one? To collect and use information about your users. In order to collect and use information about your users, you need to meet the two following criteria. First, the collection of personal information needs to be necessary, meaning that it is essential for the development of your business. Therefore, ask yourself about the purposes for which information is collected. It can be the search for profit, but also for the realization of statistics or surveys, for example, to develop your marketing. Make a clear distinction between the information that is a necessity for you and the one that is simply optional. Then, you have to determine the time of conservation of that information to ensure that it is destroyed once the necessity condition disappears. Second, the person involved must have consented to give its information to your company. The privacy policy allows you to obtain the consent of your website's users. It's essential. Even when your users voluntarily complete an online form, they must explicitly consent to the collection and use of their information for a specific purpose. Again, a good privacy policy informs your users about how you collect, store, and share their personal information within your company or with third parties. Collection clause. It explains why and how you are planning to use the personal information of your users. Retention clause. It informs your users about how and for how long you are going to keep their personal information and indicates the protective measures adopted within your company. Communication clause. The privacy policy also allows your users to understand under which conditions their personal information may be disclosed or sold to third parties. For example, it has to state clearly how your users can access their personal information or how they can object to their collection. In order to do so, your privacy policy gives them the contact of the person in charge of those issues within your company to ensure transparency and trust. The stakes related to the collection of personal information are high. Failure to comply with the obligations provided for by the protection of privacy legislation can be appealed to the Commission d'accès à l'information du Québec, and very heavy fines may be imposed. Internet users are becoming increasingly aware of the importance of protecting their privacy. By adopting a clear, concise, and accessible privacy policy, you aim at building a lasting relationship of trust with your users. It is very important to keep this document up to date. For example, you may have heard about the GDPR. Since May 25, 2018, the General Data Protection Regulation, GDPR, has entered into force in Europe. It also applies to non-EU companies as long as they process personal data from European residents. It provides for very significant sanctions in case of non-compliance with its obligations, up to 20 million euros or 4% of the annual turnover of the company. This new European regulation ensures an extended protection to the users. More specifically, it simplifies users' access to the data held on them, in particular by giving them the possibility of requesting a copy and/or the deletion of the data collected on them directly to your company. Furthermore, it requires that any company who discovers that there was a violation of their data management system notifies its users and the European authorities within 72 hours. If you think that the GDPR applies to you, make sure that your privacy policy is adapted. Now you should have a better understanding of the importance of a privacy policy and why you would need it. In the next video, we are going to show you the Lex Start process and how we can help you. Thank you and see you soon.